Hello and welcome to another session of Mindful Data Mine. In today's session, we will be talking about a most frequently used procedure to summarize categorical variable. This procedure gives us the frequency and the percentage of categorical variable. I'm talking about the procedure known as Proc Freq. So without wasting any further time, let's start with the practicals. So for Proc Freq, we use PROC FREQ followed by data. We need to pass here data set name. So I'll use SAS help.cars here. Okay, and I'll run it. So this is the general syntax for proc frequency or proc freq. When I'll run this, I'll get the frequency of all the variables, categorical variables available. So first I got it for make, then I got it for model. Okay, then I got it for type, origin, etc. So what we are getting, by default we get frequency, percentage, cumulative frequency and cumulative percentage. Okay, let's assume that we do not want to see details of all the variables. Okay, and we are interested in only type. So what we can do is, for that we can use proc freq with table statement. So when we use table statement, it will give that particular table which we have specified, or that table of that particular variable which we have specified after table statement. Okay, now we are getting only these items. Now let's assume we do not need cumulative. So we are getting here cumulative frequency and cumulative percentage. If we are not interested in that, so we can use no cum. When we use it, we will only get frequency and percentage. Similar to this, in case if I'm not interested in percentage as well, that means I'm only looking for frequency, then I can use no percent as well. Okay, now in case if we want to get the cross tabulation, by cross tabulation, let's assume we want to get the type by origin. For that purpose, we can do cross tabulation as well using proc freq. For that, I'll copy the same code, and here I'll use asterisk followed by origin. Now when I'll run it, I'll get the cross tabulation of frequency and percentage. Here we are getting row percentage and column percentage both by origin. Now, in case we do not want to see data in a cross tabulation format, but instead of that, we want to see it in the list fashion or list format, what we can do is we can simply use list option. Okay, now in this case, we are getting type, origin, and its frequency. Moving forward, then in case if we want to see cross tabulation for more than one item, okay, for example, I want to see a cross tabulation for type and origin and type and drive terrain maybe, then in that case we can again use the same thing, but this time we can pass it like this. Now when I'll run it, I'll get two tables, one for type with origin, the second table will be type with drivetrain. I'll remove list from here so that we can see the cross tabulation. See, we are getting two tables, one for the origin and type, the other one is for drivetrain and type. Now, in case if we want to see the distinct values, maybe for type, so what we can do is we can simply use Proc Freq. I'll copy the same code. Okay, and maybe I want to see the distinct value of type. Then in that case, I'll write here n levels. Now when I'll run it, it will give me distinct values present in it. So there are 6 values. If you count, these will be 6. Okay. Apart from this, in case if we have a requirement that we want to see maybe let's say cross tabulation in a data set instead of results, what we can do is we can simply pass it to a data set using out option. Out equals to, let's assume I'll say cars underscore cross Freq, and when I'll run it, it will generate a data set known as cars underscore cross underscore Freq, where I'll get count percentage. Okay, now using Proc Freq, we can also generate the chi-square test. The chi-square option, which is used to generate the chi-square test, is a test for homogeneity or independence and measure of association between two categorical variables. So in order to perform the chi-square test, what we can do is we can simply use the same code, okay, and instead of out, I'll have to pass the option chi-square. Now when I do this, okay, and in case if I want to output the data as well, so I can use output out equals to, let's say, cars underscore CHISQ, and here I want to pass chi-square test result. We can do it like this. Now when I'll run it, I'll get the results of the test, which are stored in the form of a data set. Now in case if we want to generate or plot bar chart, we can also do it using Proc Freq. For that, what we need to do is first we need to set ODS graphics to on, and then we need to use Proc Freq data equals to SAS help dot cars. Okay, next we need to mention the table name. So table will use type again, and after this in the option we need to use plots, and what we need to plot, frequency plot. Okay, now when I run this, then at that time it should plot bar chart for me, but before running it we also need to close the graphics. For that I'll use ODS graphics off. Now when I run this, we'll get the bar chart like this. So this gives me the frequency distribution by type. Similar to this, in case if we want to do a dot plot, we can do that using the same code, but here with Freq plot we need to pass an option known as type, and type equals to dot. Now this time instead of bar chart we'll get dot plot like this. Okay, Now let's assume we have missing data. So by default, when we talk about Proc Freq, it does not count the missing values. Okay, so I have a data set named as SAS help.hard, which has some missing data for that cases or that cause. Okay, so we'll first use that data and see the results. So I'll write proc frac data equals to SAS help dot hard run. Okay, and maybe I'll use here table as that cause, just to check the that cause table only. Okay, now if I check the frequency, so these are the frequencies. Okay, here when we say missing, we are getting it separately. But what if we want to see it with the data over here? Okay, because it's not counting it by default. It says it separately. So for that, what we can do is we can simply use missing option. Now when I'll run it, this will give me the missing here and we'll get the cumulative frequency or the entire frequency for that cause as well. Okay, now if you see the data here, it's not sorted. Missing is 3218, that is 61%. For cancer, it's 539 records with 10%. Then we have 378, 7%, 605, 11%, 357, 6.85%, 112, 2.15%. Okay, in case if you want to sort the data based on the percentage, high to low, we can always do that using procfrac only. Okay, for that, what we need to do is we need to use a procedure option known as order. And here we need to use frec. So based on frec, that is frequency, we are asking SAS to sort. Now when I'll run this, this should give me the data in a sorted fashion. Now we are getting 61%, 11%, 10, 7, 6, 2. Okay, so this is how we can use procfrec in SAS. Please let me know in comments if you have any queries or questions related to proc frequency. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.